Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of our video here at Board the Boat in Wasaga Beach. We're here again with Cathy Lane and we're going to get a tour of her 2 units, the boat bow and the boathouse, as well as a sneak peek into the backyard. Let's go. Hi Cathy.
Hi Daniel, how are you doing?
Good, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too. So come on in. So this is the entranceway to the boathouse.
Wow, magical.
Oh, thank you. So it's a keyless entry, so you just enter your code and then you get into the boathouse.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, come on in.
All right. So this one has a 2-person occupancy? Or?
So this is a 4-person occupancy.
Okay.
So these Chesterfields fold out to 2 single beds, and then you've got a queen-size bed at the back.
What a great use of space.
Yeah.
So you've really taken the space that would normally accommodate 2 people, and you've really converted it into being able to accommodate 4.
Yeah, so the great thing about this whole area is that you really want to try to make it look like there's 2 separate areas, even though it's just 1 room. So the idea with that, to make this look like it's a bedroom and still keep it very open, the idea was to create this space by elevating it, so you get a change of the elevation in this particular room. So this is supposed to be a dock.
Right.
So you step up into a wooden platform, and then above you, you've got a tree stumps and a really nice point of entry. So it feels like you're in a totally different space. With this, there's a couple different changes from the living room as well. So you'll notice that the ceiling's a different texture, and there's a few different elements. So it feels really very much like you've moved from one space to another, but you get the openness of both the spaces. So
what a great use of space.
Oh, thank you.
And there's a sign that you mentioned in our previous episode.
Yeah. So all of these different things, I think this is the difference between a hotel and a place like this, is that there's so many stories behind each of these different elements. So this is an old Mercury outboard motor sign, and the gentleman whose name is on this was instrumental in designing the Mercury outboard motors. He has over 200 patents for different things, all pertaining to motors and cars and boats and things like that. So some really cool stories if you look into all the different elements that are here. These are 100-year-old shutters, so these were taken off of old buildings as well. Old tug ropes. There's some robes and a pillow bar up there if you'd like. A little breakfast tray for people who are here. And usually these are all local magazines, so just things that you can do. Right now it's got a food and drink on it, but typically underneath you'll have some other local things as well. So this is nice for the guests. They've got little flowers, they've got a linen spray, they typically have chocolates, they've got their remote for the TV, which they can see from their bed, which is really nice.
And I love what you've done with the floor here. All the guests can write their names here, right. And it really adds an extra touch.
Yeah. So this was kind of fun. The first guest that I had was an airline pilot, and she brought her 2 children with her, and they thought it was just like camp. So they started this whole thing, and I said, well, you better sign the floor. And then after that, I've had hundreds of guests sign the floor, which is really, I love this element. And I look for it every time a guest leaves, and they say either, why they are here or the date that they were here. There's a 4th-year anniversary there. Some of them got engaged. Some of them it's a girls' night. Some of it is like the Fly Fearlessly logo, which was for a campaign that was for the ALS. So there's a lot of different stories here, a lot of different people. And because I have so many repeat people, they always look for their signature as well. So when they first came. So that's kind of cool. These are all, again, different elements of things that are around here. These lanterns were taken off of an old marine, which is kind of cool. Again, boat related. This is an old teak piece. So this is all reclaimed teak. And then the other highlight for in here is when you look outside, you'll see an old boat. So you get a visual no matter where you are. The aesthetics of that boat changes depending on the season. So right now we're just in the Christmas season, so it has all kinds of evergreens. In the summertime, it's either ferns or a garden.
And that's what I love about your property. You could come here multiple times a year and you're going to see something new every
You're
time.
always going to have a different experience, that's for sure. In the wintertime, the guests love the fireplace. So it's nice to be in here. You feel really hunkered down. It's really nice to be in this space. I love it. I love it. Very warm tones, lots of wood. So, and unusual elements too. So on the wall, you have springs, which everybody comments on. I think the springs are kind of interesting because one, they're very tactile, but nobody really thinks of springs as a work of art. And to me, it's very pop art look to it. It's kind of very cool. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. So here we have a kitchen. So all your units have their own bathrooms and kitchens,
yes,
as you mentioned.
That's right. So they're completely self-contained. So this one's got a big stove, a big fridge. Outside there's a barbecue. There's always a coffee maker here. All the utensils. And again, you know, it is a small space. So it's a big kitchen for a small bedroom. All the pots and pans, as you can see, are all along the wall, which makes it easy access. So yeah. So that's that. And then this one, as you mentioned, everybody's got their own bathroom. So this is another bathroom in the studios. So this one's kind of cool. I always like different lighting. So I'll turn on the lights for you here, but usually the candle lights are on. With this one, the tub surround is a little different. That's off of the first Parliament building, which was in Upper Canada. So on Talbot Street, that building was taken down. So I was able to get some of the dental molding from that. And then there's an old piano leg, old fishing poles, all kinds of boat stays for tying down the different boats. And we use those to hang towels and different things on. So a lot of different sort of design elements to make this really a very cozy, unique space.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. All right. So why don't we move over to the other unit down here?
Okay, sure.
And that would be the boat bow.
The boat bow. So as you mentioned, every space is entirely different. So it has a different feeling to it. So this one I find is very clean, very white. It uses a lot of reflections. I think we were talking about that before. A lot of angles in it. The nice thing about this is also a one bedroom. So the way that this space is divided up is the center wall. And the center wall is left so that there's an open space on either side. So no matter where you are, you still feel like there's more to the space than maybe physically there actually is. So if you're in the bedroom, when you're in here, because of the angles, you still see the fireplace. You get the reflection from the big wardrobe. So you see beyond the space. And again, that gives you the illusion of it being a very big unit. The headboard behind the queen size bed, again, is very reflective, very simple colors. And lighting in all of my studios is key. So, you know, you can dim the lights. Let me just do that for you right now. Just so you can see the different effects with the lighting. So I think that that's one thing that makes it really nice for different guests is, you know, when you come in during the day, you might want it bright, but in the evening, you want a very soothing type of light. And to be able to dim everything is really important. I always have a lot of different light sources. So in this one, we've got the overhead pot lights. We've got the sconces on either side of the bed, and then candle lights, and then again, a fourth element, which is all the little twinkle lights that go around the bed. So it makes it really nice and very controllable. Lights are the thing that changes the mood in all spaces the most. So I'm really cognizant of that.
I have to agree. And looking at your bed here, we see that you are using our bonsai sheets here.
Yep.
And one thing that a lot of hosts have an issue with is a white duvet. They want some pop of color.
Right.
So I recommend exactly what you've done here is use the white sheet so that it seems very clean and crisp for your customers.
Right.
But then you could always use a pop of color with some extra pillowcases or
right.
A duvet that has some stripes or some different colors on it.
Right.
And I see that you have done that here.
Yeah, so I think that's a really good point. White sheets are always way better when you've got a lot of guest turnover because you want to be able to, bleach the sheets, or again, they're washed so frequently that if you've got colors, they tend to fade really quickly. The other interesting thing about using a plain palette like your white sheets is that now if I want to do something different for a different season, it's really easy for me. I change a couple of pillows and I change the blanket, and all of a sudden it will look very different.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that keeping some of your basics simple is a really good idea.
Now in the bathroom here, I see that you've used the dispensers.
Yeah, and we've talked about that too a little bit, but you can see how nice and clean it is. Easy access, especially when it's on the wall. When you've got things like shower stalls, it makes it difficult for people to bend down and get things. So the soap dispenser and the shampoo dispenser is a really nice idea for a shower in particular. And again, we talked about the assets of not having a whole bunch of half-empty bottles around, and this allows you to have all the bottles full, or at least if they're not even full, they look full.
Yeah.
So, and then of course we talked about the fact that you can save money and you save plastics by buying in bulk. I think that's a really strong thing. A lot of people are now very aware of plastic usage and how they can save money on that too. So that's good. In this room, the same thing. There's a lot of light and there's a lot of mirrors in here. So yeah, good use of small space. So behind the sink, if you open that up, I'll open it up for you too. Again, lots of storage. So you always have to try to figure out, what's good for the guests and where they can put all their things. So the sink has got storage on it, the storage behind the sink, towel warmer, and then of course the towels. So we've talked about the towels. I think the fact that they're such nice quality towels that they make a really nice design element and a statement right away. They're just nice and clean and white and beautiful, nice thick towels. People react to things, especially things I find that they're in close contact with. So something that's very tactile makes a big difference, like a beautiful towel.
And I see that you leave out at least at least 3 per customer.
Yeah, so they always have a face cloth, they always have a hand towel, and then they always have their big towel. And then, of course, I've got a bunch of towels that are underneath here because a lot of guests want to use more than one towel. So we keep all the extras in a storage space for them.
That's great.
Yeah, because we've got the hot tub, and if they're here for multiple days, they might want fresh towels.
And that is an incredible little piece of detail that you do there for your customers. Cathy makes these roses.
Yeah, not a lot of people fold their toilet paper, so yeah, that is a bit unusual.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
and that's a little touch that adds a little bit of
it's fun,
elegance,
right?
And luxury to your property as well.
Yeah, there's always something a little different.
And that's what you get with an Airbnb, really, that you don't get with most hotels.
Well, the hotels, exactly so. I mean, it's very standardized. It's usually very cookie cutter. So, people are looking for the home elements here. They're looking for something that's a little different. They're looking for something that they can relate to. Here's something that you'd be interested in, Daniel, is your bonsai. This I've had for how many years now?
At least 2.
Oh, no, more than that. Yeah. I think that's at least a 3-year-old plant. So I think that's very cool. So that's something that you gave to me when we first met. So that's really neat. The other thing that's kind of cool here, very subtle, is that all of these things have a little bit of a relationship to our personal life. So you'll see a horse there. That's done by an artist by the name of Anne Gage. And she does a lot of sculpture work. She's very well known, but she's great with horses, and horses are a big part of our world. This was done by a potter in Santa Fe. The cool thing about these particular things is this was all done with a can opener. So he's used a can opener to create all kinds of different patterns. So, again, kind of making the ordinary into the extraordinary, which I think is always of interest to me. And then, again, lots of different animals, but kind of very subtly introduced into this space. I always find that with us, and me, I have like a lot of dogs, and they're always with me, especially on the Chesterfield, because they make themselves comfortable. So in this, it's kind of a nod to those dogs. You're never alone, and my dog feels that they're princesses too. So that one's got a little ruby collar on. And yeah, and then
And these are really cool ways of connecting your own personal life to an Airbnb without being overly intrusive.
No, I mean, it's very subtle. So, but again, if guests want to know anything, then there's lots of talk points about different things. And I think the thing is, when you're introducing design elements to a studio where you do have a lot of guests, you do want to make sure that there's commonality in some of those themes that you're introducing. So something like dogs or something that most people love, right? Most people love animals. So it's a natural thing to kind of put in without, screaming that it's your own personal taste. And I think that that's really important. So things like that, and it adds a little bit of humor and lightness to a studio too. So you look for that when you're trying to design something.
Great. So why don't we go check out the outdoors? Let's put our jackets on because it is quite cold, and we'll see you guys outside.